So now let's go into your first big break into the industry. Who finally gave you a shot?
Cressa.
Okay.
So I was with Cressa for right around 4 years.
Shout out to Cressa.
In Conchock in the office. Funny thing is that the office that I was at Cressa has since been demolished.
Oh, wow.
It's now part of AmerisourceBergen's new headquarters.
Okay.
But Cressa was the firm that I ultimately selected, and they selected me to kind of join their team. It was an interesting interview. I think I was there for on 3 separate occasions, and this is the first time. And every single time I tell people the story, and they're always they don't believe me because they've never seen this in an interview. But what they gave me was a hypothetical client, and I had to go in and pitch Cressa services that I didn't fully understand yet.
What?
As my final interview.
Wow.
So I had to put together a presentation, which, truth be told, was a little bit of a mess because I work off of a MacBook.
Okay.
And most brokerages, generally speaking, most companies, generally speaking, work off of Microsoft.
True.
They didn't have the adapters. We were scrambling to find the adapters. We finally found it. I gave the presentation, but it was to sell the services of a firm that I was about to join or potentially joining.
Right.
To a hypothetical client that they created. And the result of my presentation dictated if I was going to get the job or not. Or at least that's how I thought of it.
Wow.
So that was my entry point into the Cressa, and that was my interview process. I can't say that other firms don't do it, but I haven't heard other firms.
Yeah, I never heard that before. Yeah. And that's something I would expect of maybe like a more experienced professional who's kind of like done this for a little while. You want to see actually how good they are. But for somebody like yourself just trying to break in, that's a pretty, you know.
I mean, I've done presentations from the architecture side, and which is also professional services.
Yes.
Because it's not a product you're selling. But to talk about the specific services of a firm that I don't have any working experience with, that was kind of just grabbing things kind of out of the bag, out of the air, essentially. Yeah. Did a lot of research on the company. Well, I think that might have been the point of it all.
Okay.
Do the research on the company and the services that they provide, read every single case study that they've done, or at least have published, and see how they were able to accomplish the transaction as a whole, and try to incorporate those buzzwords into my presentation to them.
That's good, man.
Yeah, it was a nice learning experience. It was definitely nerve-wracking as I was kind of leading up into it.
I can imagine.
It was fun.
Yeah, and I can imagine, you know, any kid or student watching this interview can actually say, well, maybe I can go into the interview with a fake company or a fake project or presentation and, you know, show them I can do the job, you know.
Yeah,
just
I mean, it's definitely a differentiator.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, you've probably experienced it yourself where you get applicants that might want a job, and that job might not be solicited, or a job that is posted. You get a stack of resumes.
Yes.
Just pieces of paper on a desk that's probably already cluttered.
Right.
So if you get a chance to come in and meet someone for 15, 20, 30 minutes, you have to make sure that you're memorable.
Yes.
And that's the type of thing that I always take with me, because as you make phone calls to people that you don't know, you can get 10, 20, 100 tries at it.
Right.
Because the likelihood of them remembering Niles or Tommy calling them last Friday or last Wednesday, they're going to forget it by Tuesday.
Always.
But when you meet someone for the first time, you got to bring your A game.
Yeah.
And it's okay to not know everything.
Right.
But you have to be confident.
Right.
And any follow-up questions that you didn't know, invite them to go, I don't know this. I don't know how to answer this right now. But I'd love to follow up with you later this week and talk about it.
Yeah.
And leave it at that.
Yeah. Great, man. No, that's great to hear. I can already see you being a public speaker, a motivational speaker one day, man. That's awesome.